Hi everyone, it's us again, Paulina, Clarice, Vivian, and Charlie, again to discuss another very important topic, which is sex education in our countries. So let's start with the fact if it exists in your country. Let's start with Charlie.
Yeah, we had sex education in ninth grade.
And what was it about? What did you learn on it?
It was actually pretty like a lot of like hormones, but also like normalizing kind of like masturbation, condoms, and like all that stuff.
Okay, Vivian.
I don't remember much about sex education because in our high school there is the group of students to talk about. There is not organized with a teacher, but with more with students and self.
Self-education?
Yes,
Yeah, kind of self-education.
Okay, so not a teacher that
No.
does it, but students themselves. Even though they have no professional in this, they are doing based
maybe
on
with
internet
yes,
what they
maybe
find
with
in
some
internet.
research on internet.
That's very bold, I would say. Okay, and in France?
Well, in theory, we have some sex education in middle school and high school, but in reality, it's very different. Just for me, I had like maybe 2 hours of sex education in middle school, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was like the basics, like how to put a condom and what period are about, like. But
Were they separate for guys and girls? Or together?
there was like 1 hour together and then 1 hour separate, like for boys and for girls. And it was not a teacher in the school, it was organized by Planned Parenthood, and they already have like amounts of work to do, and they don't have time to go in every school in the country to do sex education, so that's partly why we don't really have sex education.
Okay, so when I think about my sex education, we had boys' classes, girls' classes, and all together, in which like girls were taught that they should take care of their hygiene while having a period because guys are very sensitive for this. We were taught how to be attractive for guys, so the whole thing was on how women are still an object for guys to
Object of desire.
object of desire, and for guys they were just taught. Oh, and the teaching about organs were separate also. We were taught about girls and boys were taught about boys, and then all together we only spoke about having family, how it is to live together.
If I may, in France, we have like in science class, it's mandatory for every pupil in middle school. You have classes about the genital organs. And so we talk about boys and girls, and so everyone hear about it.
In Poland,
Same in German. Well, not like necessarily with science, but like also in this like sex education, like we talked about the penises and we talked about the vaginas together.
But in biology, we were only taught about the build. But we know that sex education is not only on how it looks and biology, but it's much more.
It's not sex education.
I have a question. Do you in your country talk about only sex education for reproduction or for pleasure too?
Mostly about reproduction. I've never had a sex education class about pleasure that it gives.
For us, it was like kind of half. I remember we had to like reenact like a scenario that we had on paper, like not physically or anything, obviously, but we had to like kind of the situation basically, and the fact that the situation was important did kind of indicate that like I mean we were obviously taught that sex is like a pleasure thing, like in most of the times. But we were also taught about the reproduction. So I'd say sex education in Germany, for me at least, like for our class at least, it was okay, yeah. Can't complain.
Do you think it was enough? The sex, how it looked,
I mean,
like the
education is
about...
never enough if you put it at that.
Okay, but did you get at least the amount that you would expect from school, or would you like schools to give more info for young people?
Personally, I think we must have much more info. I was lucky to have my parents pretty open about this. Like my mom always told me, you have to wear condoms, you have to take care of yourself. If you don't want to, you say no, and the guys must stop. But in other families, it can be totally different. So I think it's necessary to have this discussion in school because it's the place where the most young people can be together.
Yeah, that's also a nice thing to say. Do you think, like in your families, did you have conversation?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Was it about only contraception itself, or was it also about the diseases like sex can bring to you? Did you speak about the whole range of sex, or just how to like not get pregnant?
Nah, diseases like STDs, we did talk about. It was mentioned because obviously, if you're lucky enough to like not have a baby, then you might get something else that's not very good. But it was we covered it all basically,
Okay.
which was good, yeah.
It's pretty funny because in my family, with my mom and my sister, we always talk about that my mom want to become a grandmama. So it's
She was
pretty-
ready. That's cool. That's
so it's
cool.
not about not being pregnant, but more about the disease in the sexual in
Okay.
sex.
So if not school, if not parents, I obviously went for social media to find, like, in Poland, more and more people in social media are talking about sex, pleasure, how to protect yourself, what you can expect, what you should, like, the communication with the partner. There are more and more Instagram profiles that speak in a way that is very professional, based on knowledge and research, and not just simply opinion, which is nice. And that's how I look for answers if I have any doubts. Do you guys go there, or?
Yeah, in France, we also have some very interesting accounts on Instagram that talk about, especially, well, because I'm a woman, about women pleasure. And it was really interesting. I learned a lot thanks to these things. And yeah, I think the social media can bring something very, very good to the debate. On the other hand, the internet also has some big issues with it, like with porn, for instance. Like when young people don't get informed very well about sex, and they can go look for answers in pornography.
Unrealistic expectations.
Unrealistic expectation. That's what we can easily get from porn videos. Okay, we're gonna, I think, give some Instagram profiles that we know that can share info about this topic from
Maybe
each
one
country.
from each country.
If we want to give you
Exactly.
very, like,
Yeah.
facts and how to, just a way of talking about sex and how to learn to talk about sex. Thanks, guys, for another nice conversation discussion.
Thanks.
And as the last time, we're waiting for you guys to comment and ask us questions or give your opinion on the subject from your country. Okay.
Bye.
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 Goodbye.